Pandit's resignation at Citi Group has taken the banking world by surprise, with speculation rife over what prompted the departure. Some point out that the bank's board is anxious to turn the page on its losses and now looking for growth. So what qualities should the new man at the helm of Citi Group has? Joining us is Sozen Leimon, co-founder of Maxxim Consulting. Sozen, good to see you. Thanks very much indeed for joining us. The new man's come from the older world of banking, commercial arm rather than the investment bank. But bear in mind this is such a disparate, diverse, big company. What skills is he going to have to really be good at?
Well, I think you really have to be, as any CEO these days, a well-rounded individual. So not only does he have to be inspirational internally in terms of managing his teams and bringing together really strong, high-performing teams, but also he needs to think about his shareholders, consumers, the board, and pull all that together. And that takes a lot of skill, and it needs skills which are around listening, really good listening skills to make that work really well.
Well, it's interesting. Speaking of being well-rounded, here's a guy who was a football quarterback for Harvard, who started basically a company bidding for manual labor contracts while he was still there, who was apparently quite well-liked, and not only then, but throughout his career. So it almost seems Jamie Dimon-esque.
Well, he comes with quite a high reputation, and I think there's a lot of expectation on his leadership skills because of that background. And I think what's interesting is who he'll bring in to form part of his top team. And we've looked at Bob Diamond and Jerry Del Messier, there's Pandit and John Havens. They've brought in people they've worked with before. And I think the true question for him is going to be, of course, you need people where you have strong relationships and you know how to work with them. But it's really about what that core team is there to do and what are the rules that they're going to set. So you've got to be really clear about what the rules are in the classroom and what rules you have in the playground.
Should the person that you hire as your operating officer or your number 2, 3 be a person that has skill sets that you don't have?
I think they
but as a rule.
Well, generally, yes. I think that number 1, number 2 position tend to be quite complementary. And you have somebody who focuses more on the external world and managing the relationships. I think you'd need a CEO who also has a good sense of the big picture. This is a large organisation.
I was going to say, because you say that the CEO needs to listen, he needs to manage his relationships, he needs to get everybody on board, but at the end of the day, he's also got to lead. So when is the point when you stop listening and say, OK, thanks very much, this is where we're going, and you've all got to follow me?
Well, I think that's a sign of a good CEO. They have to be decisive and know what they're being decisive about. And it's a few things, actually, and it really sets the cultural tone. And as we know, it's an industry where the culture is changing dramatically. So I think Mike Corbett's will need to, and I think has already made a few decisions about what he wants to change or what he's going to look at. And I think that's a good sign of a leader. You need to be decisive and you need to be very, very clear about what you want to do.
Do you set your tenor? I mean, do you achieve most of what you're going to achieve in the first 6 months of becoming CEO? I mean, is that, there's this theory about if you don't get things done in the first period, that's it. I mean, it's not going to happen for you.
Well, we've worked with CEOs and we've asked them what would they have done differently. A lot of them have said they'd move faster. So pace is really important. And I think setting that cultural tone really early on is very important too. It sometimes takes far longer to get these things actually done depending on how big the change is. But I think most would say moving faster is better.
Lay it out right at the beginning.
Yeah, and make sure there isn't uncertainty in the organisation as well. People don't like uncertainty. Nature abhors a vacuum.
Sounds like the European debt crisis. Take the pain, avoid uncertainty. Certainly some parallels there, but a tough couple of months ahead for the new CEO of Citi Group.
You've got to listen to a lot of people and then act. You've got to do it very quickly, though. Yeah. So I'm going to listen to you. Can you speak quickly? Before I move on.
Move it right along.
So good to see you. Thanks very much, Dee, for joining us. So did you say Leimon?
Leimon.
Leimon. Thank you. Sozen Leimon, co-founder of Maxxim Consulting. We'll take a short break. Still to come.